Hello everyone, we warmly welcome you all to our special program brought to you by the Indian Achievers Forum. I'm your host Manasa Das. Indian Achievers Award is an honor that celebrates people who went extraordinary to effectuate their dreams and aspirations. With this series, we not only emphasize on the struggles and the achievements of such individuals, but also the social contributions they have made to their native land, India. Before we take you to one such achiever, let's take a look at this small video.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Today we have with us Mr. Saumil Hukerikar, who is a distinguished software engineer with over 12 years of professional experience. Holding a master's degree in computer science, Mr. Saumil Hukerikar specializes in designing back-end distributed systems, especially distributed data infrastructures. He has experience working across different industries, developing critical systems that are directly or indirectly used by billions of people across the world every day. Beyond his professional commitments, Mr. Saumil enjoys giving back to technological community by reviewing technical books, judging international competitions, and mentoring the next generation of technological enthusiasts. Hi, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. So, given your impressive background, can you please tell me something about yourself and a bit about your professional role in the tech industry so far?
Sure. Hi, my name is Saumil Hukerikar. I'm a senior software engineer currently working at Meta. I've been in the industry for close to almost 12 years, and I specialize primarily in building back-end distributed systems. Uh, I've worked across the finance industries, I worked in cloud computing sector, and currently as a part of Meta, I'm in the social media industry.
Right, sir. So my next question is, what really interested you into, what inspired you into choosing in this industry?
Yeah. Like my first interaction with computers was what most kids usually have is playing games, and that's what was the initial fascination for me, like how the games work and the joy that we were getting out of it. As you grow older, the next thing that was really intrigued me was the calculator. You spend hours trying to memorize the multiplication tables, do addition, subtraction, divisions, and then at some point in your high school you start using calculators which does the exact same thing in just a jiffy. So those kind of things were really interesting for me. The first time I actually worked with a computer algorithm was during my high school when it was an introductory class on computers, and we were given a pre-compiled uh, code for the snake game. So we did not have to really implement anything, but we were given the freedom to make some configurational changes. For example, what happens when the snake goes from one end of the screen and pops out to the other? Is that something that we want to allow, not allow? How long can the length of the snake be? So by the end of the class, right, everyone all the students in the class had a different variations of the snake game, and that was something that felt really satisfying. I mean, we didn't write the entire game itself, but just configuring it and customizing it, and then you see that, oh, now you're able to build a game and then have that sort of control over it was just a great feeling itself. And as I started just getting used to more and more technology, it became much more interesting for me. Like how does these things kind of work? How does an ATM system or machine work where you're able to withdraw cash, your bank balances get updated in a jiffy? How do you send messages that get transported to someone across the world? How does the internet work? How does social media in today's age work? So these were things that kind of really always intrigued me, and that was the reason I was like, okay, this is something that I want to continue pursuing as I grow up.
Right, sir. So, considering a professional experience spanning over 12 years, you must have faced certain challenges. So, what were some of those key challenges in your career so far?
Yeah. So challenges have all kind of changed across what phase of the career I've been. After graduation, when you're just a fresher, uh, the biggest challenge is gaining trust of your fellow employees. You're always looked at someone who is a newbie who does not really know a lot. And back then, you want to break the mold to say that you bring something valuable to the table. You want to earn the trust of your colleagues. You want to deliver certain products, and then say that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I know my knowledge is there. So during the earlier phases, it's more about hey, this is just not a young kid who's completed a degree in computer science. There is more to me than just a computer degree science. So that were like the initial things that were the initial challenges during my earlier stage of the career. As I moved into the middle age of career, you would say, which I'm probably still at, it's more about how I grow as an engineer. During the earlier phases, you're much more focused on simply coding and developing solutions and making ensure your application or your product works. But as you grow up in your career, you want to be able to influence the business, the direction of the product, what in future, how do you expect the software or the product to behave, and then kind of help mentor the upcoming junior engineers so that they can learn their way up to the higher levels. So at this stage, it's more about, okay, I need to share everything that I have learned during my initial years, and I need to start thinking beyond just a single product or a single feature. It needs to be at a much broader scale. How can I impact the entire organization that I'm part of? How can I impact the entire company? How can this entire product impact probably even the world? What can I do to make it different? And that kind of change in your thinking process is something that I'm still getting used to. Yeah.
So, next thing, I'm really keen to know the projects and the innovations that you are involved in.
Sure. So during my initial career, for the first couple of years, I worked in a company called JP Morgan Chase, which is a financial institution. Over there, I was part of the risk and trust team. So essentially, we were responsible for coming out with softwares that would uh, measure the risk associated with customers who bank with JP Morgan Chase. Uh, After I completed my master's, I joined Amazon. More specifically, I joined Amazon Web Services. So this is a branch of Amazon which develops cloud computing products. And in that, I was part of the NoSQL team. This is where I felt I was able to learn the most and have the biggest impact. I feel privileged to work on a product called as DynamoDB, which is no NoSQL database. Uh, Last I checked, it's probably the second most traffic. It's the second most frequently used traffic in the entire world. It gets traffic in the ranges of hundreds of millions per second across the world. Like the Amazon website, a lot of public companies, they all rely on that particular software. And building a new feature for it that has gone global and that kind of totally changed how people use DynamoDB was something that I'm very, very proud of. We eventually even got a patent for it. So that was that's like one feather in my cap. I'm kind of really proud at. Most recently, I have joined Meta, and in Meta, more specifically, I work in the Instagram team. Here, I've kind of shifted a bit of my focus to help in account protections. This is basically a role wherein we try to introduce kind of safety mechanisms that Instagram account owners can configure on their systems, which would make it much more difficult for potential hackers to take over their account. So when you make when it's always a fight of how you can ensure to make that account more secure against a potential hacker, and then whenever you see you're able to close down a potential loophole that they have exploited in the past or they might exploit, it always gives you a good feeling that, okay, I know I have done this great for my end user.
Right, so at this point, when you have already had developed several, critical systems, so what do the future stands for you? What are your future career aspirations and plans?
Uh, yeah, I mean, so far in my career, I've worked on computing on one sector. The customers for that were mainly tech-based users. Usually, it was other tech companies who wanted to use a database, and they kind of came to use DynamoDB. With Insta, our end users have been day-to-day users who may not be as technologically affluent as, say, the users of DynamoDB. So these both kind of gave me different experiences how users can use a product that you're particularly working on. Uh, as I grow, as I see myself in the future, it's always trying to stay relevant in with whatever technology is being used. Uh, Currently, it has been cloud computing as has been that social media has been another branch. But as we move forward, artificial intelligence is the new boom that's coming in. My interest specifically has always been more in data infrastructure. So that's basically how can data be collected, how can data be organized. So whatever software you're building on top of it, it can work in the most smooth manner as possible. So based on whatever is the nature of the software, you need to architect your data and design it in a different manner. So it's developed for differently for, say, DynamoDB. It's developed and structured differently for, say, Instagram. And now with artificial intelligence, it is going to be structured differently so that all the new large scale models that are used to train the artificial systems, they can exploit the data. So that's where I see my upcoming interest to be like, how can I make it so all these large language models, they can learn quicker from whatever data is already available on the internet.
So, as they say, that inspiration is often a fleeting thing, but motivation is what that keeps you going. So, how do you stay motivated to, achieve such things at a high scale?
uh, Motivation, I mean, motivation is kind of difficult to get if you don't have fleeting amounts of success. I find it, everyone tries to work hard, and at some point in your career, you would definitely want to have achieve some sort of success. It doesn't have to be something that's a big bang, major successful thing, but some even small, minor milestones which give you personal satisfaction, which make you feel that I have done something good, I have learned something, and based on this, it kind of gives you self confidence to say that if I have done this, which has an X amount of impact, I know I am capable of doing something that's even greater than that and having a bigger impact. So it's your past achievements that kind of fuel the motivation that I have to achieve future. Hopefully, that will help me achieve future things of greater impact in the future.
Right. So how did it feel to win the Indian Achievers Award? What did this recognition mean to you?
I was really pleasantly surprised. Like I have seen some of the past winners of the Indian Achievers Award, and that's quite a prestigious bunch of folks. So when I was reached out saying that, hey, you have been selected for the award and congratulations, I initially thought probably this is a spam mail. That's probably someone's trying to get some data or trying to get some financial benefits out. I was really skeptical. But then when I looked at it further, I was like, this does sound legit, and it was really hard to believe at first. But I mean, it's one of the things that it's going to keep me further fueled. As I mentioned earlier, you need certain points in your career that are that validate all the hard work you're doing. And this is going to be one of the bigger ones in my career so far. That's like, hey, I just managed to get a Indian Achievers Award. This is a really big thing. I think I can even go further than this.
So, so now that we have talked enough about your professional achievements, can you please tell me something about your social contribution?
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, the professional achievements are one thing of your career, but then you also want to ensure that you are able to have some kind of social impact. So in my career, I've been kind of fortunate to have met with a lot of folks who kind of influenced me, who kind of mentored me into the direction about what I want to pursue, how I want to pursue it, what are the things you should do, what are the things you should not do. And based on that, I feel that it is an obligation for me to give back to the society. So I tend to, volunteer to be a judge at various international competitions. I do kind of I do volunteer myself to be a technical book reviewer on subject matters which I feel I have sufficient expertise. And then I also mentor the next generation of engineers so that they can come up and build something that probably would be much better than what I've contributed so far in my career. They can develop in ways and grow in their career, not face the same hurdles that I did, and probably come up with better experiences that will benefit just all of the world.
So my next question is also along the same lines. What's that one message or the holy mantra you would like to share with the new generation, aspiring to enter this tech industry?
Sure. Uh, one of the things that I have frequently noticed with some of the younger generation is they kind of want to come into the industry because they enjoy development and coding. Uh, I would really like, for them to uh, revisit the thought, because software development is more than just coding. uh, During your very initial stages of your career, sure, that's what you would be doing hands on. But let's say 4 or 5 years into your career, that the amount of coding that you do kind of reduces as and as you go senior. The more senior you become, the less coding you do. You at that point, at a senior level, you're more trying to look at review documents, you're designing softwares, you're trying to influence the business direction to a certain extent based on what's possible technologically. So anyone who is interested in coming up into this field has to have some passion for technology itself and not necessarily just software development, and have patience. Everyone's career grows at a different rate, everyone's career has different experiences, uh, and try to enjoy what you're doing. Passion is the most important thing. If you're able to really enjoy it, you're going to get some level of success. And once you have that, that's the fuel I feel that all everyone is required by everyone, so as to keep building on to their career as they move ahead.
Right. So that's indeed an amazing message. So we hope to you continue to inspire us the same in the future. So that brings us to the end of this interview. We hope to see you again. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you for having me.